Does everyone remember the test cards that Wizards made for those, like, wacky drafts? You know, one thing that was unique about these test cards is that they had, like, some of them had really crude art, as if, like, it was drawn, you know, maybe not, like, by, like, either a child or a kid. Some of it wasn't very fancy. Some of it was really good, but some of it was, you know, pretty crude stuff, and it looks like Wizards of the Coast has decided to commission some children to do some secret layers. Artists reimagine children's designs for next charity. Magic the Gathering Secret Lair set. We've got Mole Drifter, we've got Craterhoof Behemoth, and we have another card. Well, we're already deep in the October Super Drop. Wizards of the Coast has announced the next Secret Lair charity event for Magic the Gathering Extra Life 2021. So you can get a Mole Drifter. I think you get like two aspects of it. You get the one that the child drew. And I don't know which one came first, which one came second. But then the artist like made a good version of it. And I'm assuming the artist took inspiration from the children's version and made, well, I don't know, like another version. Secret Lair is Magic's limited exclusive direct purchase line that sees cards printed with new art and only be made available for a short time each year. It does a fundraiser for Extra Life, an event that raises funds for children's hospitals. Last year, it was a number of cards based on a theme of family, but this year they're letting kids design the cards themselves. Well, you mean they're doing the art. These are like old cards. They're not making cards from scratch here. The drop will include 2 copies of 3 cards, one with art by a child, the other art that was recreated by one of Magic's professional artists. 2 Mole Drifters by Aaliyah, age 5.5, and the other by Magali Villeneuve, age 41. 2 Craterhoof Behemoths by Kira, age 5.5, and the other by Lars Grant West, age 52. And 2 Metalwork Colossus by Hyun Tran, age 6, and Chris Run, age 36. Boom. These are very... Look at this. The Metalwork Colossus. That's a hard one. You know, if I were a kid... I mean, if I look at Mole Drifter, I see a fish. This is not... The Mole Drifter is not bad. It's really not too bad at all. Let's see if we can zoom in even close. Boom. There we go. The Mole Drifter is not actually too bad, even though it looks like a bunch of scribbles. There's like a shape. We see details and the fin and all that other stuff. Because if you looked at a Mole Drifter, it sort of looks like a fish. I don't know what's going on here with the Craterhoof Behemoth, but the Metalwork Colossus has got to be very difficult. Because if you ask the guy, hey, can you make a Metalwork Colossus? Like, what the hell is that? What is even a Metalwork Colossus? And Craterhoof Behemoth has turned into a big purple pink thing. Costing about... Oh, God, this is going to be very cheap. Costing about $40 in non-foil and $50 in foil for all 6. This is potentially one of the best value propositions Secret Lairs has ever released. Though Mole Drifter and Metalwork Colossus aren't worth a whole lot individually. Hey, you never know what Mole Drifter is going to do in Modern. You know, the Elemental deck is a pretty big deck right now. Craterhoof Behemoth is almost 40 pounds a piece already. And this gets you 2 of them. More importantly, 50% of the funds raised from the Secret Lair will go straight to charity. Extra Life is a gaming-centric event that sees blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, it's a charity Wizards of the Coast does for... specifically, Wizards of the Coast is raising for Autism Center at Seattle Children's Hospital, which supplies diagnosis and therapy for autistic children, as well as performs its own research. Lion Kira, who drew for Mole Drifter and Craterhoof Behemoth, respectively, are autistic twins who have received support from the center. The Secret Lair was accidentally leaked. Oh yeah, it was accidentally leaked through the Magic the Gathering Arena a few days ago when MTG content creator Amazonian somehow unlocked the alternate styles. You'll have to wait a bit longer before buying them yourself, though, as they won't go on sale until November 5th and then end on November 8th. You got a 4-day window? 4-day-ish window to go get them Secret Lair, go get them Mole Drifter, them Craterhoof Behemoth. What a behemoth. Anyway, neat stuff. All 3 kids are at the Seattle Children's Hospital, and Wizards gave the oversized versions of the card into custom plushie. Oh, that's great. Great stuff. All right, so welcome to the morning show, where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. And also, we do Decklist review. So if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, send it this way. We'd love to give you that feedback. So brew up some cups of coffee. Let's brew up some Magic this morning, Coffee Crew. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for, what is it, October 21st? 21st, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And what's a morning without our sponsors? FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week. Showcase singles are 15% off. Where you want Ugin, where you want Bone Crusher, Giant, Brazen Borrower. There's a lot of modern staples there. You want the flashy, fancy frame. 15% off all Showcase Magic singles at FusionGamingOnline.com. And don't forget, if you use coupon code Nikachu, you get an additional 5% off all your purchases. You can stack the discounts and save yourself money. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Vegas is coming up. You got your deck ready? You know, it's a month away. If you don't have your deck ready, you're not sure what to get, what to be playing for that event, you can start practicing and play testing with Mana Traders. You try one deck. You don't like it? Send it back. Try another deck. You keep trying until you find the deck that speaks to you, the one that you can win with. So you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. And a good morning to everybody. Good morning to Brittany. Good morning, Steven. Good morning to Bearer, Matt Wazix. Benji Boy, Trevor Just, Cody. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Ventrix, Gold Medals, Kaya, Ulamog's Coffer Room. Stephen Herman, good morning, Gemmin MTG. Anyone else refreshing YouTube at starting at 10 a.m. waiting for the stream to pop up? It usually starts at 5 a.m. I think it just shows up. Do you guys have to refresh? It'll start when it starts. Hopefully no refresh necessary. Good morning, Papa Joe. Good morning, Zal. Good morning, Aztec Guy, GP, Frederick, Mikey J. It was a good morning. Then I saw the Uncharted movie trailer. Can't relate. I have no idea. Good morning, everyone. Beware of a Pikachu satanic boner tail. That's right. When the Pikachu tail goes up, you know he's about to do evil. He's about to do evil. So you know the drill. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your questions amongst all the comments. Amongst everyone, I'm streaming on my social media channels, but if you're on YouTube, Nikachu MTG Streams, you can donate with a super chat, and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. So what do we got here? We've got Quillis McDillis. What's the interaction between dress down and cards that champion upon ETB? Ooh, okay. I think if I were to guess, so let's take what's a champion fairy? Well, let's look at dress down for a second. It's just like everyone loses their abilities until end of turn. Or is it ETB, everything in play loses abilities until end of turn? No, it's just creatures lose all abilities. So then let's say fairy something. There's a lot of fairies that champion. Or maybe there's not a lot, but I know there's at least one. That's it? That's all we got for fairies? Mistbind Cleek, that's what I want. I'm like, the way I want to guess this works is like you just get the 4/4 flash flying champion of the fairy. When this champion of fairy, when this comes into play, sacrifice it unless you remove another fairy you control from the game. When this leaves play, that card returns to play. Like, I'm guessing if you have dress down in play, then you just play this as a 4/4. That's it. But that's a lot of work to get a 4/4 in play that taps all your opponent's stuff down. You need 6 mana for that. But I don't know. I'm assuming this is. Yeah, it's an ETB trigger, but it's not going to trigger because it doesn't have an ability when it enters the battlefield. So I'm just guessing it's flash, flying, enters the battlefield, nothing happens. And therefore no creature comes back from exile. Yeah, nothing comes back from exile when it dies. This is how I'm guessing. Be quadruple sure with a judge, but this just, unless there's something about the champion mechanic I don't know about, looks like this is what it is. First Doise, this might not be an appropriate question, but how would you send out 50 cards? I was thinking bubble mailer with cardboard on each side of the card in an oversized bag sleeve. You know how I do it? I would get, there are these small plastic cases, like where you can fit like a stack of 50 to 100, maybe not 100 cards, but like you can stack a bunch of them, and I would wrap that in tape and then send that in a bubble mailer. That's how I would do it. Does anyone else have a suggestion for 50 plus cards? Or like maybe my suggestion is only good for 50 cards. Like there are these like tiny plastic cases where you can like stuff a bunch of cards in. But if anyone has any other suggestions, I'm all ears. Maybe some people have experience sending 100, 200, 300 plus cards. But a range is pretty useful. There's a big difference between trying to send 50 cards and 1,000 cards, you know what I mean? That's a big difference. What else we got here? Spectre, the Muldrifter art is great, and $20 Critterhoof Behemoth makes this a deal all day. A steal! A steal deal. Not gonna lie, the kid that did the metal work just drew a bunny and we all have to deal with it? Is that what happened? You know what? I think you're right. The kid drew a bunny. With rainbow ears, and the rainbow was still reflected in the art, which makes some sense. You know, I'm assuming bronze under the certain light can reflect different colors. Kai says, I'm glad money goes to charity, but I love that Wizards of the Coast raises the prices so they still make a large amount of profit. Seems at least a little exploitive. Well, what do you expect? It's a business. It's exactly how it's done. My intro was flawless. Well, I try. I have experience. Nikachu, is it true mana and planeswalker abilities don't go on the stack? What about Arbor Elf? No, they mana doesn't go on the stack. So if you tap your Noble Hierarch for mana, that doesn't go on the stack. Planeswalker abilities do go on the stack though. So if you tap Noble Hierarch, trying to get Noble Hierarch on the screen here. So if you tap this thing for mana, that doesn't go on the stack. It just happens immediately. It's weird. Anything that adds mana doesn't go on the stack. I know it's got the tap symbol, and normally... That's a really good question. You know what? It's been so long since I've addressed something like this, because I could totally see people get really confused over something like this. You see the tap symbol, and you think, hey, that has to go on the stack. But when it comes to mana abilities, they don't go on the stack. They just show up there. They're just there. But Planeswalker abilities do go on the stack. Make no mistake about that. Like, so if you activate, say, Teferi Time Raveler. This is a bad example, because I can't play anything at instant speed. I guess I can activate abilities. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Okay, let's say my opponent plays Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and they go -3, put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, third from the top. In response, I could maybe bounce the permanent that they're targeting back into my hand so I could replay it. Deathrite Shaman, well, yeah, and that, it's tricky, right? It's tricky when it comes to mana abilities. It needs to immediately add the mana for it to be a mana ability. If it does anything else, because sometimes it's hard to decipher, you know, Arbor Elf. Untap target forest. Is this a mana ability? What do you guys think? Is Arbor Elf a mana ability? I don't remember. What about Chandra's mana ability? If it's an activation of a planeswalker, it's gonna go on the stack. All right, we got people. Nope, nah, no. That's correct. You untap the forest, but it doesn't add mana immediately. And now we go to something like Deathrite Shaman, which has tap, exile target land from card from a graveyard, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Is this a mana ability? What do you guys think? Looks like it's MTG quiz time. Exile target land card from a graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Not today. Still no. It's correct. This is also not a mana ability. The first you tap it, you target the land. You need to wait for the land to get exiled, and then you get the mana. Yeah, it does require a target. Absolutely. And now, how about Lotus Bloom? Tap, sacrifice Lotus Bloom, add 3 mana of any 1 color. Is this a mana ability? Oh, that's a good one, Lord Magicus. Yeah, we'll go with this one. Kaya says yes. Mikey J says yes. Flavio says yes. Yes, Lotus Bloom is a mana ability. You immediately get the mana. This is, I don't blame anyone who gets confused by this, because, we look at the tap symbol and we just assume, okay, this thing needs, anything that taps goes on the stack or anything like that. So it's really weird. Okay, let's go to Chromatic Sphere. To be honest, I don't know the answer to this. I gotta read this. I'm gonna guess no. Because you draw a card. I never paid attention to this. You can't automatically draw a card. When you sacrifice something, like this is gonna... Oh, or do you get the mana immediately? And the drawing card thing goes on the stack. No, the whole thing has to happen. See, this is... Look, we're confused now. We got some yeses, we got some nos. What is the answer? I don't know. Chromatic Sphere is a yeah. So do you draw the card immediately? How does this interact? This was a great suggestion. Even I'm gonna learn something here. Cause I just let Tron do whatever they want. I never pay attention to what goes on the stack when it comes to things like Chromatic Sphere. Same thing with Krark Clan Ironworks when it was an archetype. You draw the card as part of the mana ability? That is so stupid. That is so stupid. So it's instant draw a card. And it's not, you cannot interact with it outside of it being cast. Look at the rules underneath. Oh, notes and rules information for Chromatic Sphere. This is a mana ability. Look, we've got the... what is it? What is it like in school when they have all the answers? This is the answer key. This is a mana ability, which means it can be activated as part of the process of casting a spell or activating another ability. If that happens, you get the mana right away, but you don't get to look at the drawn card until you have finished casting the spell or activating that ability. So, hold on. So the card draw does go on the stack. Or what is going on? Or the ability needs to go on the stack, then you draw the card. Because you have to declare the spell, declare targets, pay costs, so that you could pay the costs with Chromatic Sphere in a weird way. But that's... Oh no, yeah, you could pay it with colored mana. So you ended up casting the spell and you're drawing a card simultaneously. What's really fun is when you crack a fetch land, use Millikin and Chromatic Sphere to try and cast Panglacian Worm. Panglacial Worm. When you crack a fetch, use Trample. While you're searching your library, you may play Panglacial Worm from your library. What? Okay, so... use Milliken and Chronos to try to cast a Panglacial... Okay, what's Milliken? I'm not gonna wrap my brain around this morning. This is too early for this interaction, Lord Magicus. This is too early. Milliken, 2 mana, mill a card, add a generic, and it's a 0/1 creature. Why is Milliken necessary? Just tap and mill. Add generic. While you're searching your library, you may play Panglacial Worm from your library. This is such a weird card to be searching and can cast at the same time. I believe you would have drawn the card and activated triggers, but it doesn't reach your hand until the stack resolves to the trigger, probably. Hot Cold Man. I got in a huge argument with my friends about the mana stack thing. Thanks for the help. You're welcome. I really don't blame you and your friends. I mean, unless you play tournaments and you ask these questions, it's like it's impossible to know. It's impossible to know. This is one of the single most complicated ways to cast a spell in the entire game. But why is the Milliken so necessary? Why is casting with this or is it just like it's a random artifact that can add generic mana to crack Chromatic Sphere? And why do you want to mill? Whatever, you tell me later in Discord or something. What a complicated interaction. Anyway, I hope that clears up some stuff for people who want to know about activated abilities. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so this thing simultaneously mills a card and adds mana. Is this a mana ability? Notes. If you activate Milliken's ability while casting a spell, you can't choose to rewind the ability once you see the card that was put into your graveyard. If an effect allows you to look at the top card of your library and you activate Milliken's mana ability, it sounds like it is a mana ability, while casting a spell, you can't look at the new top card of your library until you are done casting the spell. Jesus. They don't make it easy on us. Milliken is a mana ability. Imagine giving that to a judge as part of, all right, here's the final exam. Because those judges have to go through, like, they take real exams to become like level 2 judges. It's time to see what you're really made of. How well do you really know these rules? What about Elves of Deep Shadow? Add 1 black, take 1 damage. Is that a mana ability? No, it's definitely a mana ability. Elves of Deep. Is it Deep Shadow or Elves of the Deep Shadow? No, it's Elves of Deep Shadow. Add a black to your mana pool. It deals 1 damage to you. It's like, yeah, it just deals 1 damage to you. It's like Mana Confluence, really. There's also Planeswalker Priority. Once a Planeswalker resolves, you can activate it. Well, it's not Planeswalker Priority. This is just Magic Priority in general. Once a spell resolves, you get priority if it's your turn. Once a Planeswalker resolves, you can activate it before your opponent can kill it, but if you do something else, it's fair game. That's correct. It's just how priority works in Magic in general. If it's your turn and you cast a spell, well, now let's get deeper into the rules. Actually, this is a good discussion point for anyone that doesn't know. Let's say it's my turn. I cast a spell. Who has priority? Who has priority after I cast my spell? It's been a long time since I talked about this, so, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of new people I've gathered on my channel that probably need to know this. A little bit of lag, so I'll just let you all simmer on that question for a little bit. So we got a little mix. We got Nikachu does. We got some say the opponent. You have to pass priority on it. The opponent, so they can respond. Okay, so here it is. If I cast a spell, I have priority. It is just customary by Magic that whenever we cast a spell, we're automatically giving priority to our opponent. But that is not technically how the rules work. I am allowed to respond to my own spell. So, and if I want to do that, I do have to make mention that I'm going to respond to my own spell, but I am allowed to respond to my own spell first before anyone else does. So I could, for example, cast, I don't know why I would want to do this, but I could cast Swift Spear or I could cast Eidolon of the Great Revel, and with Eidolon of the Great Revel on the stack, I'm going to Lightning Bolt you. So I'm going to cast my Eidolon and going to get a Lightning Bolt in before the Eidolon gets in play. Why would I want to do that? I don't know. But it's just important because there are a lot of times where you might want to, yeah, you say that you're going to maintain priority. You got to say something. Yeah, you got to hold priority. You tell your opponent, I'm holding priority. I'm going to maintain priority. I'm going to respond to my own spell. Whatever, however you want to do it, you do it. But it's just very important that you know that you are allowed to do that. There might be some special situations where you want to pull off a few activated abilities or spells before you even let your opponent even do one thing. And then after I respond to my own spell, I again have priority to my own spell on the stack, and I can keep doing this until I pass the priority. And then when I pass priority, then my opponent can do something. And they could do the same thing back. They could play a spell and in respond to their own spell, play another spell. And it's not until they pass priority that it goes back to me. So just important to know. That was a very relevant, yeah, that was a relevant interaction a long time ago. Tectonic Edge. So Tectonic Edge is like a wasteland, but only if your opponent has 4 or more lands in play. So the problem is, if I have 2 Tectonic Edges in play, my opponent has 4 lands. If I use Tectonic Edge number 1, destroy the 4th land, and now my opponent has 3 lands, well then my second Tectonic Edge can't do anything because my opponent has 3 lands. So the trick was Tectonic Edge the land number 1 away, then when you still have 4 lands in play, in response to my first Tectonic Edge, I'll activate the second Tectonic Edge, target another land, because you still have 4 lands in play. So I've activated 2 Tectonic Edges, and then boom, you lose 2 lands. That was a very relevant ability back in the day. Tybalt's Trickery works this way. Do you? I don't think there's any... Well, I mean... What? The inevitable that a game with tens of thousands of unique pieces ends up with an extremely complicated rulebook. Imagine chess with 20,000 unique pieces instead of 6. It's amazing it's this simple. True. It's amazing we can still play this game at all. Is it really how the Tybalt's Trickery combo works? Tybalt's Trickery combo is more of a... You destroy some... Well, which combo? Oh, maybe there is a Tybalt's Trickery combo that holds priority. There was something in Historic, wasn't there? Because I'm thinking about the modern combo, and we never held priority at all. Can you respond to your own spell with a split-second spell to make counterspells impossible? No. Actually. Can you respond to your own spell with a split-second spell? What is split-second? Hold on, can you respond to... So what you want... Or maybe, hold on, let's see. I think... Let's look up split-second as a mechanic. You can cast Ornithopter, hold priority, account. Oh yeah, that's how they did it. Okay, Split Second is a static ability that does not allow any players to put any spells or activated abilities on the stack as long as the spell with Split Second is on the stack. And 3, future it appeared on one card. A historical note. Split Second takes, harkens. Hold on. Too many ads here. Split Second only applies as long as itself is on the stack. You mean only itself. Players still get priority while a card with Split Second is on the stack. Split Second doesn't prevent players from activating mana abilities. That doesn't matter. Split Second doesn't prevent triggered abilities from triggering. Split Second doesn't prevent players from performing special actions. Split Second doesn't prevent the spell from being countered by triggered abilities. Split Second won't affect spells and abilities that are... Okay, Split Second won't affect spells and abilities that are already on the stack. Aha, that actually might make sense. So hold on, Split Second will resolve. Yeah, I know it's a super instant. Multiple instances of Split Second on the same spell are redundant. Okay, hold on. Split Second is a static ability that functions only while the spell with Split Second is on the stack. As long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast other spells or activated abilities that aren't mana abilities. So I think what's going to happen is you can't... So let's say you play a spell and you play a Split Second spell in response. So you play your spell, Split Second spell in response. I don't think anyone can play anything. But the problem is this spell will resolve first, and then your spell is left on the stack, and then they can respond to that. Priority is passed after every spell resolves, so even if you hold priority, your opponent will get a chance to respond before the first spell resolves. Yeah. Yeah, they'll just wait for the Split Second spell to resolve. So I guess the answer is yes, but no. So yes, your opponent cannot interact with you while the Split Second thing is on the stack, but this is a very temporary distraction because eventually that Split Second spell will resolve. And then you're screwed. You cannot actually protect the spell that you're looking to protect. Trevor, what about damage during combat? Can I put that on the stack? Not anymore, Trevor. Sorry. Once upon a time, you could do that. These days, no. You cannot put damage on the stack. That used to be a thing, though. You would attack, deal damage, the damage goes on the stack, and now everyone has the ability to cast spells or activate abilities. The damage step was one of the most intricate parts of combat way back in the day. Then they just got rid of it. So this is... And you know what? With good reason. It was a stupid thing. It made the game, like, overly complicated. And to be honest, I used damage on the stack all the time when I was younger, but I didn't, like, internally understand what it meant. I do now, but at the time, I was just like, I had a loose idea how it worked, and all I had to do is say the magical words, damage on the stack, do this, and then I got what I wanted to happen. Yeah, Mog Fanatic was a big one. Mog Fanatic. It would work if there was some spell like Silence with Split Second, but no such spell exists. Not yet. They probably won't make anything like that anyway. Yeah, this is a really good brain twister day. Is there anything else I want to teach you guys about priority? So, okay, well, like, let me talk a little bit more about priority, because people may not really internally understand how a turn of magic works. So, like, let's say it's my upkeep. Let's say, yeah, so like we have an untap step. Nothing happens there, by the way. You can't do anything during your untap step. Then you get to your upkeep, and then whoever's turn it is, they basically decide, okay, I'm done with my upkeep. I want to go to my draw step. And then priority is passed to the opponent. And then the opponent gets to say, Okay, I don't want to do anything at your upkeep. I'm not going to play any spells. Then you go to the draw step. First thing that happens at the draw step is you draw a card. Then you can play spells or abilities. However, the draw step is a special part of the turn where you basically pass through it to your main phase unless you say you want to do something at your draw step. It's just assumed you're not doing anything at your draw step. But technically, you're then also saying to your opponent, okay, I'm done with my draw step. I want to go to my main phase. And the opponent then will say, okay, you can go to your main phase. But this is all done quietly. Like, this is all done silently. Usually what we do is we shortcut in Magic, and we just do whatever we want to do. And then if someone wants to go back to do something, or wants to do something at their upkeep, like let's say I'm the opponent, my opponent untaps, they're going to their upkeep, and I'll say, stop. I'd like to do something at your upkeep before you draw a card. Or even they'll even pass the turn saying, okay, I pass the turn, and then as the opponent's untapping the cards, I'll like, you know, hey, stop, I'm going to do something at your upkeep. Because we shortcut through the turn, like, quite quickly. Like, because we don't have time to say upkeep, sure. Draw, go. Main phase, or like, can I go to the beginning of combat? Sure. Can I go to my attackers? Sure. Go to blockers? Sure. Damage step? You know, it would take forever if we had to declare every single part of a turn. So we do this dance of, like, I'd like to go to my next step, and the opponent agrees, even though it's almost hidden. How does mutate work with cards that flip? Now this is where we need a judge. So we got Gem Razor. Let's look at Gem Razor and Delver of Secrets. I'm gonna leave this to everybody else. Does anyone know what the hell happens here? Because I don't. How does mutate work with cards that flip? I usually try to say words as I'm reaching to do them, untap, upkeep, draw. I usually just say draw, because I feel like draw says everything. If I go to my draw step, they can't interact at my untap step. Then no one can play spells or abilities unless something triggers at untap, so I don't even have to say that. But I usually say draw, because if they let me draw, that means they had nothing, they didn't want to do anything at my upkeep, and then I'm just play at my first main phase. So I personally, I just untap, I ask my opponent draw, they let me draw, boom. I believe the mutate would stay on because it's, oh no, it will stay on. I don't have a problem with that. Or is it as simple as you mutate on it, and if the dominant creature is Delver of, hold on, so like what if, okay, if you cast a spell, put it over or under the target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature on top, plus all abilities underneath it. Oh yeah, it has to be a non-human. So we need a flip card that's not human. Or what if it's already flipped? We got a human. No, it's still an insect. It's still a human! Can't mutate onto humans. This might be easier than we thought. Okay, is there any flip cards that are not human? They might all be humans. By God, did they figure this out way ahead of time? Was Wizards of the Coast that big brain? Like, we're making all these things human. Okay, what about Hunt, Master of the Fells? Are you a human werewolf on the other side? No, you're just a werewolf. Okay. Now what? Now what, Wizards? We've been a bit of a conundrum here. Flip werewolf backside is not a human. Yeah, day and night mechanic is very similar. So the deal is, what about Nissa? So what's the deal? Do we know what's gonna happen? And I don't know what's the difference between putting this on top or putting it on bottom. Okay, let's read but mutate, like, I don't even want to look this up. Okay, let's look up mutate. Mutate rule MTG. Oh God, look at all this. Okay, if you cast a spell for its mutate cost, put it over or under target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature on top, plus all the abilities from underneath it. Mutate has roots in Bestow, plus all the abilities from underneath it. So, like, my deal is, what if you have Gem Razor on top, and you have a Hunt Master of the Fells underneath? And you have the ability, at the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Ravager of the Fells. But it's not a Ravager anymore. What are you going to do about the companions in Vegas? If the opponent's deck doesn't meet the requirements, do they get a warning? Game loss? Oh, they'll probably get a game loss, and then if they get caught again. Actually, it's possible to get a DQ in day 2, because it's professional. How do you keep this in check? Well, you have to just... Hey, you've got like a 3-mana permanent in your deck, in your Luris deck, you cheater. You just catch them and you call a judge. It's no different from someone playing 5 copies of one card. Like, you can't tell unless you picked apart their entire deck. Mutate is a fuster-cluck of a mechanic, I agree. Gem Razor doesn't have a backside to flip to. That's correct. Okay, so if Gem Razor's on... I mean, I don't know the actual rule, but I'm guessing if Gem Razor's on top, no flip happens. If Ravager of the Fells is on top, there's going to be a flip. If Ravager is on top when it transforms, it will only become the Hunt Master of the Fells until it flips back. But then now Gem Razor is not a legal target. Now that's weird. What if you flip into a human and you got Gem Razor on it? Remember, you put under target non-human creature you own. I imagine it should fall off. There's a lot of... like, for example, if you have an aura on a creature, let's say it's blue, and you give your creature protection from blue, the aura falls off. Yeah, I think it should fall, but I don't know. I don't know. This is an insane interaction. Brandon Barrett with the super chat. Can you explain draw step more specifically? If an opponent does something on my draw step, do they decide whether it's before or after I draw? They have to do it after you draw, because the very first thing that happens at the draw step is you draw your card. They cannot interact. You cannot be in the draw step unless you've drawn your card. So basically, you hit the draw. It's like when you declare, you go to your attacker step. The very first thing that is allowed to happen is you have to declare the creatures you're going to turn sideways, and then each player may play spells or abilities and have priority. Same thing with the draw step. First thing that happens is you draw your card, then technically you have priority, and then you're going to pass priority to your opponent. Almost, I don't know, I'm going to say 100% of the time, maybe 99%, maybe 99.9999999% of the time, as the person drawing the card, you're not going to play anything during your draw step. I can think of maybe one time in my life I might have needed to do that before I hit my main phase. I don't even remember what the reason was. But the deal is, yeah, you get to draw the card first. So if your opponent does anything at your draw step, you've got an extra card in your hand. Take that knowledge to the bank. All right, so how are we doing here? It loses all abilities because the text is on the back of the card when Huntmaster flips back into a human. Then when it flips back to a werewolf, the card is still mutated and I have no idea. What? Someone do it in Magic the Gathering Online or MTG Arena and see what happens. I guess we have to do it on Magic the Gathering Online. No, the human text only applies at the time of casting? Okay. Gem Razor mutated before it turned back into a human, so it wouldn't... Okay. Oh, I see. I see. So it's gonna stay on. It's a weird thing. Chris Williams with the super chat. Thank you very much. But do you have any question? Keep an eye out for a question if you have one. Supposed to send it with the super chat usually. But mutate is a cast, so after a card flips, the mutate is already on. I don't think it matters after the mutate is paid, unlike an aura, which is continuous. This is true. True story. We have a new card? What do you mean new card? Big Brain mutate on a man land? What time is it? Oh, we got 30 more seconds. We got 30 more seconds. Well, this was an interesting... Well, I still don't know the full answer to Gem Razor. It's also possible if we tried to play Gem Razor on a Huntmaster of the Fells, or sorry, Ravager of the Fells on Magic the Gathering Online, we wouldn't even get the... Like, it might act bugged for all we know. Magic the Gathering Online is not great in these very bizarre situations. Oh, there's a Crimson Vow card? Okay, hold on. You could look at a Where is it? I've never even seen these. This was posted a long time ago. There's this special grave crawl. It looks like some sort of creepy comic book Crypt Breaker, Crypt Keeper, promo cards. Okay, hold on. Where do I find this new CC update? What is the CC update? What does that mean? Because CC doesn't stand for Crimson Vow. You got a new credit card? Oh, I see. Oh, you're updating. All right, thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate it. Okay, now when you talk about cards here in a trading card game forum, as it is on Coffee and MTG, the last thing I'm gonna think about is credit cards. Last thing I'm gonna think about is credit cards. But anyway, thank you very much. All right, it's time for deck list review. So if you'd like to get your list submitted and have a chance of getting it reviewed on Coffee and MTG, use the command. Well, first off, you got to go into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord. Go to the channel Decklist Review and enter the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list, and boom, you're eligible at random for decklist review. Now, you can also guarantee that you're going to have decklist review and a match played with your deck if you donate $25 US to paypal.me/Nikachu MTG, because we have a paid decklist review today. We've got Urza Blade by Spartor. So this is the paywall decklist review, but for everyone who wants to do it free, you do it over here. So we have one paywall decklist review by Spartor, and it's a neat Esper. It's like an Esper Urza Emery. It's like Emery Stoneblade, basically, with Urza in it. And a Thought Monitor. We've got Esper Sentinel. Well, I need some more room here. There we go. Esper Sentinel, 2 Snapcaster Mage, 4 Stoneforge Mystic, 3 Emery, Lurker of the Loch, Vesper Lark, which actually synergizes very well with this deck. When it leaves the battlefield, it's got Evoke, right? When it leaves the battlefield, return target creature card with power 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It turns out there's a lot of them in this deck, like Esper Sentinel, Stoneforge Mystic, Emery, and also Urza, Lord High Artificer. So if your Urza dies, you just Vesper Lark it back into play for 2 mana. You get like another Golem. I think that's actually pretty good value. We have Thought Monitor in here. Too bad you couldn't Vesper Lark that thing. That would be insane. 3 Dispatch, 4 Metallic Rebuke, 3 Mishra's Bauble, 1 Ether Spellbomb, 1 Shadow Spirit, 1 Soul Guide Lantern, Springleaf Drum, Nettle Cyst, Batterskull, and Cauldron Complete. You gotta have... It's actually a lot of stuff you can get with the Stoneforge Mystic. Shadow Spirit, Nettle Cyst, Batterskull, Cauldron Complete. We have our mana base. Engineered Explosives, Portable Hole, Soul Guide Lantern, Blessed Alliance, Dovin's Veto, Manriki, Gusari, Teferi Time Raveler, and Settle the Wreckage. Okay, so I actually looked... How do you pay to do a decklist review? Oh, all of a sudden people are very interested in the paywall decklist review. Send $25 to paypal.me/Nikachu MTG. And also leave a link to your decklist, or I won't be able to find it. Now here's the deal. Okay, so I looked at this list. You have, like, literally 7 spells in your main deck, so Snapcaster Mage makes no sense. And I actually think, for a deck that's playing with Thought Monitor, Urza, and Emery, you actually should up your artifacts. So I would actually like to see, instead of the 2 Snapcaster Mages, which are really dubious in this set, 7, you may not even have these spells in your hand. You may not even come across 1 spell a game. You probably will get 1, but I don't know if it's worth it to have, like, Snapcaster Mage in there for. You have more stuff in the sideboard, but still, you're more artifact-based than anything else. You should be leaning on Engineered Explosives, on Portable Hole. Like, you can't even flash these things back. You can get, like, some Blessed Alliance and Dovin's Veto action later, but I still don't think it's worth the Snapcaster Mage. I'd remove the 2 and just up my Mishra's Bauble and then put in maybe another artifact. Or another Emery. Or another Thought Monitor. Thought Monitor is really, really good. Replace Dispatch with Prismatic Ending. You can get rid of big things with Dispatch, though. You can get rid of Murktide Regent. I really have nothing against Dispatch. It's okay. We don't need Thoughtcast because we have Thought Monitor. And we might as well play a 4th one. If we're gonna... I would rather play the 4th Thought Monitor before I play a first Thoughtcast. Now, Prismatic Ending may have some purpose in the sideboard. But I thought that was... Like, I think this is really cool. I like the look of the deck, but I'd probably up the artifact count to something. Because, you know, you depend on artifacts for Thought Monitor. You depend on them for Emery. And you're not putting them all in the graveyard, right? You're going to be playing Stoneforge Mystic and putting them into your hand. And mind you, you can play... Esper Sentinel does count your artifact. Count your artifact. So Esper Sentinel can go in the graveyard and you can replay this from the graveyard with Emery. Thought Monitor or another Nettle Cyst? No, we don't need more than 1 Nettle Cyst. It's a Stoneforge Mystic target. / Emery target. I agree. That's why I will remove 1 Snapcaster Mage for at least 1 Mishra's Bauble. And maybe, this is probably not a bad deck. No, I was thinking like maybe we could play with some Mox Ambers, but actually we don't have that many legendary creatures. Now okay, I'm not a huge fan of Manriki Gusari. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's okay. I don't know what the mirror looks like against another Stoneblade deck, but it seems pretty irrelevant. Or also just very clunky, because you play the Manriki Gusari, you equip it, they kill the creature, now you're just down like a bunch of tempo. But here's the big question. Sell the Wreckage. I asked the designer of the deck, what Sell the Wreckage for? And they said it was for Crashing Footfalls. Is this the best we can do versus Crashing Footfalls? Is this better than Supreme Verdict, for example? Like, I know we might blow up our own creatures, but we also have a pretty good... Like, especially if we're playing with a Batterskull deck. Stoneforge Mystic decks play Supreme Verdict. I mean, maybe more 0-mana. It has to be a good 0-mana artifact. I believe in going to the 4th Mishra's Bauble, that's for sure. I believe in the 4th Bauble. In Bauble, I believe. In Bauble, I trust. Oh, Javier says, from Blogatog, the double face card becomes the other side if it's on the bottom. The mutated creature has rules text. If it's on top, it gains all the other qualities of the card. Okay. Might have had our answer. I'll do anything for money, but I won't play eggs. I won't play eggs. Would you play an eggs deck with paywall? I'll play it. I cannot promise you I'm going to play it well. That's the only difference. I will play anything you pay me to do. I cannot promise I will do a good showing for combo decks. The problem with Voidmere can screw... Well, no, maybe Voidmere doesn't screw us over. Because we have colored mana. So we can actually cast things with colored mana. Oh, is it 61 cards? I wish it said how many cards there were. There's 23, 30, 10... 23, 30, 40... Oh, you're right! Oh, damn it. Oh, and then we just have to get rid of the Snapcaster Mage. Okay, we're dumping a Snapcaster Mage. Good catch. I never catch those things. Void Mirror for the Crashing Footfalls. I believe in like a sweeper of some sort. We are playing Merfolk here. We have Emery. We got our Merfolk right here. I'm surprised it's considered a Merfolk and not a Siren. This looks like such a Siren-like card. The problem is, what do you put Chalice on? I get the sense that Chalice screws me just as much as it's going to screw somebody else. Okay, so I think it's pretty easy. I'm going to add another Bauble and take out a Snapcaster Mage so we can get down to 60 cards. Witching Well is a great card for this deck. It's a great card. What do we remove, though, if we remove anything? I actually like Witching Well a lot. Very good card. But what do we play? Well, Echoing Truth doesn't just deal with Crashing... Like, I'm talking about Crashing Footfalls, the archetype. You still have to beat Brazen Borrowers. You still have to beat Furies. You still have... You know, there's other creatures than... Because we can blow up the Rhinos with Engineered Explosives if we want to. What is the point of Vesperlark in this list? Because as things die, like Urza and Emery and Stoneforge Mystic, because people are going to kill them, the Vesperlark will bring them back. And it's good value. Well, I have a slot left for a Wishing Well, but is the Wishing Well better than a Mishra's Bauble? I think the Bauble is a little bit better because it has better synergy with Emery. And I also think it has... Well, it has okay... Maybe a similar synergy with Urza. Yeah, I think we're just going to cut that. But how do we feel about Settle the Wreckage as a sweeper? If you guys like Settle the Wreckage, we're going to keep Settle the Wreckage. Or do we turn it into Supreme Verdict? Oh, we should find one map in this deck. We need one map. We need a map in an Urza Saga deck, in my opinion. I think that's mandatory. I think it's better than the Soul Guide Lantern. So maybe we're going to... Okay, we're going to remove Manriki Gusari. We're going to put, like, Soul Guide Lantern in the sideboard. Maybe we can keep this in the main. I don't know. But we'll definitely have an Expedition map. Because there's going to be a lot of games. There's a lot of games where you just play Urza Saga, you make these constructs, and then you just get a Expedition map, and you just do it all over again. There's a lot of matchups where that's just a winning combo. Like, Urza Saga is just a combo by itself. Especially against control decks. We need something to trigger Vesperlark. We just need our opponents to kill our stuff. Yeah, it's there. It's fine, and I have no problem keeping it in the 75. Oh, there's already a Lantern in the sideboards to take out the one in the main. Yeah, I believe in the Expedition map. Why is running map important with the Saga decks? Because what happens is you make you play Saga turn 2, you make a construct turn 3, then turn 4, you're gonna make another construct and you're gonna get Expedition map. And then what you do is you use it to find another Urza Saga, and then you can, like, you won't do it immediately, you'll do it next turn, but then you just keep this chain going. Keep the Expedition map train going. Because if they couldn't deal with the first Urza Saga, or not very well, then they're gonna have a lot of trouble dealing with the second one. And then we can, like, regurgitate this from the graveyard with, like, Emery. Oops. I'm lost. Could go down one dispatch for a map. I think I'm going to keep the interaction. I think we need interaction. We can't dirtle all day. I think I'll try that. I'll put the Soul Guide Lantern in the sideboard. Like, it's fine. What about Mox Amber to try to outrace the Cascade deck? I don't think we have enough legendaries. Or just Urza and Emery are legendaries. It's 7 legendaries in this deck. Vesperlark's not legendary. Stoneforge Mystic's not legendary. Esper Sentinel's not legendary. Thought Monitor's not legendary. No, I don't think it's a good Mox Amber deck. Well, okay, I hope this is gonna work. So here's my take on Settle the Wreckage. I've never liked this card. It does work, but it works once. And like, let's say this deck was great and it got popular and it made the top 8 of an event. Everyone would see Settle the Wreckage coming and they would never attack with all their rhinos. Like, it's so easy to play around Settle the Wreckage for the most part. Maybe in this deck it's going to be difficult. Maybe this deck is going to force the opponent to attack with more creatures than they want to. But I always found that Settle the Wreckage is really gimmicky. Yeah, it is a more proactive play. Not only that, it would work relatively well with this deck. You could blow up your board and then play Vesperlark and bring your Urza back. I'll think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna replace the Soul Guide a Manriki Gusari with a Soul Guide Lantern. Like, the answer to... It is so much easier to completely blow out your opponent by letting them equip a creature and then just destroying the creature that got equipped to it. That might be not the same with Cauldron Complete, but you have Dispatch here. I mean, if nothing else, to just play another exile target creature spell, and I think that would work really well. Like, Manriku Gusari it's not good value. I don't think it's good value, and that's why no one plays this card. Isn't Portable Hole better in the main board than Dispatch? No, Dispatch hits anything. Portable Hole hits only permanent opponent controls with a mana value 2 or less. What are you going to do versus Murktide Regent? What are you going to do against Stormwing Entity? What are you going to do against Fury and Solitude as they come out? What are you going to do against Omnath? So it's not necessarily better. It's got good synergy because it's an artifact, but not necessarily better. Okay, what about a sideboard plan where you become more controlling against Cascade? That's possible. It's definitely possible. Anyway, those are all the suggestions. Let's see how well this deck works out this weekend. All right, let's look at... Oh, it's Friday. No, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's not Friday. I got excited for a second. Now we're going to look into an actual deck list for deck list review. Free! Don't have to pay money. But it's a crapshoot. Oh god, is this the person? Oh my god. You know who just got chosen? It was the person who just paid for decklist review. It was Romeo. Well, thanks for donating anyway. I mean, you will get the match for sure. But that is hilarious. The person who donated decklist, I just selected them at random for decklist review. Anyway, we're not going to review your deck twice. So we're going to go with Roy Pepperoni. Congratulations, you're the next contestant on decklist review. Romeo must have been like, I've never got my decklist chosen. I have to pay for it now. He gets the match. Yeah, well, let's do a double review. It is the exact same deck. He should have submitted a different deck in the decklist review portion, because he knew he was paying for the actual deck. All right, Eldrazi Beatdown. I love the sound of it. Okay, what makes it Beatdown though? We got Ballista, Shaper, Thought Not Seer, Reality Smasher, Endbreaker, Ulamog, Karn the Great Creator, Ugin, the Ineffable, Warping Whale, Dismember, All Is Dust, Chalice, Basilisk Collar, Expedition Map, Blast Zone Cavern, Eldrazi Temple, Urborg. Wait, what makes this not a stock Eldrazi Tron deck? Except you got, like, Endbringer here, which is fine. Just totally fine. Tormod's Crypt, Ballista, Grafdigger's Cage, Pithing Needle, Liquid Metal Coating, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Orb, the Torpor Orb, Ensnaring Bridge, Oblivion Stone, Trinisphere, Sky Sovereign, Wormcoil Entering, Sundering Titan, Ugin the Spear Dragon, and Kozilek Butcher of Truth. Fabulous Finn, thank you so much for the $5. Love your stuff, Nikachu. PM me if you ever want 30% McDonald's when you're stateside. What does that mean, stateside? 30% McDonald's. You mean you're taking the 30? I'm assuming it means 30% off, or maybe it's 30% out of the McDonald's. First Toy says, heading out. Have a nice day, everyone. I'll see you fishies in the Discord. So here's the deal. This is a stock list. It looks great. It's a great Roy Pepperoni. If you want to play this, go for it. Oh, like a discount on US McDonald's, right. I get actually huge discounts in Canada. I don't know if you guys have a McDonald's app that gives you deals for McDonald's, but I get big deals, huge deals. It's almost like 50. It's like 30 to 50% off in Canada. Normal price is enormous. I don't know if you guys got that in the United States. Do you guys have a McDonald's app that give you huge deals? And also, they give me points. I get points that goes towards more McDonald's food. It's really bad. McDonald's, they've got me. They got me badly. You should get the free fillet of fish, Merfolk Master just saying. I usually get the... I'm a Big Mac person. I have to say, I'm eating so much McDonald's and getting really tired of it. All right, Roy Pepperoni, you want to play this Eldrazi deck? Go for it. There's nothing wrong with this list. It is a beautiful, delicious stock list, and I approve of this message. And that's going to be it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much for joining me and making me a part of your daily routine. Remember, if I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck list, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you love the channel, you love the show, and you'd like to support it, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You can become a patron at patreon.com/NikachuMTG. Or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So thank you very much for everyone for joining. We had a pretty good... we had a really good discussion today. We talked about rules, and we talked about even more rules. So keep brewing up that coffee, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care, and I'll see you guys.